We are going to go on a virtual journey. So I'm changing up how I usually approach this. We've been doing this a few times now. I'm trying something a little bit different. So we're going to start at the College of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, just because this can be a little bit confusing for people, especially if you're going into your master's for the first time. So my background's in governance and higher education. So the fascinating things about university is no two universities are the same. No two programs are the same. They are very contextually bound by their history and their development. So I'm going to talk to you and share with you how the U of S works. So all students who enter the U of S, I like to refer to them as dual citizens. So you are both a student in your program and you are a student of the College of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies. You would have seen that in your application, right? Both have to approve you and in your acceptance process. And the College of Grad and Postdoctoral Studies are the facilitators of your graduate experience, make sure all the things are happening across all the programs that you're able to grant your degree. So they do administrative work, they help out with things like switching supervisors, going on leaves, arranging orientation events. Like there are all the different things. They're really behind the scenes at all these different touch points. And so what I really want people to know about is that the CGPS is here to support you, that you can reach out to them at any time without for any reasons for support. Now, if you go onto the CGPS website, one of the ways you can get to what we're going to call the Grad Hub, which is our online platform that helps support students, is, wait, let me just see 1 second. There we go. The Grad Hub is your online platform to support you throughout your entire degree. So the Grad Hub is housed under the CGPS, and they are the champions of helping this work. I shouldn't have used the word champion, sorry, Laurie. They are the facilitators of this work, and it's confusing because we have grad champions who are graduate students who help facilitate this work. So all of this content has been created by graduate students for graduate students, with the support of CGPS, working through making sure everything's in line, but it's really been designed. We've done focus groups and we've done all this work in creating this. And this came from asking students, what do you need? And this is what was the product. And we went back to those students and said, is this what you would like? And they were like, this is amazing. And so we want you to know that there's a lot of work that went into this piece to really help you. And I'm going to show you also where you can give feedback to really help if something's missing that you need, where you can go and get that. So the Grad Hub is split into 3 different pieces. We have the Grad Hub, which is this information platform that provides all the different information at your fingertips and resources to help you in your grad journey and to help kind of educate and onboard you with all these different pieces. There's also the Hub Lab, which we have self-directed courses. This is done through Canva, which is the university's learning management system. So if you're in an online course, it's done through that. So we did this because it helps teach you a little bit how to use some of the functions. This is a non-credit course, so it doesn't affect your transcript, doesn't go on your transcript, just helps give you and teach you some information and tips that will help you in your graduate journey. And then we have the Hub community, which is pulling all the different information around all the different workshops, events, Grad Hub events into one location so you can connect out to different graduate students. So this has been in the works for the past 3 years. We did a major upgrade over the summer of a few of our sections, and we're really excited to share this with you. Also, you'll see on here, we have some of our key pieces that are our high traffic sources to help get you to where you want to go. And then also for all of the different Welcome Week events. So I just want you to know we have a lot of different stuff. You can meet the dean. We have a mindfulness session that I'm leading. We have a grad studies skills survivals panel. We have a Myers-Briggs a PD activity for folks that they can register for, a whole bunch of stuff. You can register here. So know that what you're participating is the first event of many different events that you can engage with. I just wanted to point that out. At the bottom here, there's also a list of different events that are happening on campus. So always, this is dynamically updating. So if you want to stay up to date on different events you can engage with, which I encourage you to do, you can check this out. So the Grad Hub, our babies. So how the information on the Grad Hub, this first piece here is all of this stuff. The Hub Lab and Hub Community, to get there, you just click here and there they are. So that's how you kind of navigate between these different pieces. So I'm going to show you that. The Grad Hub, though, is separated into different thematic areas. When we were providing information, we were like, we wanted it to match the student journey. So we have information around your transition to grad schools, around arrival, navigating, and then the blueprint, which is your map of all the different things and that you're going to be going through throughout your grad program. So I'm not going to go through each one of these. I'm going to go to the really key ones just so that way I make sure you know them. The way you navigate it, so we can start anywhere. We'll do, is grad school for you? We help kind of provide education on what is a graduate degree, help explaining some of the terminology between levels, types, disciplines, why people enroll in it, where to learn more about grad studies. Even if you're in it, there's still a lot of resources on campus to help you furthering your knowledge. There's kind of this rule of grad studies is that you're going to feel overwhelmed. Imposter syndrome is a real thing. And when you're like, finally, you're like, I got this, you know what? I can do this. That's probably like when you finished your last thing required for your program, you like feel like you're finally ready. And that's because you're a master's student or your PhD. You've done all the work and you feel prepared for it. And so knowing that growth is part of the process. And so you can, at the bottom, you can click just like a view book, like a paper view book, you can click next and it will just keep taking you through the Grad Hub. So you could read this all just like a handbook, or you can navigate, you can see it took you to the next one, just like you would any website. The other thing too, you can view this on your phone and you can actually go, there's the 3 dots, you can click that and you can save it a home page. You can use it kind of like an app. Know that there's a lot of different ways that we've intentionally designed this to be able to use in a lot of different ways. This is another one too, just looking at the knowledge that we share is helping kind of educate the different levels and what are the differences between these different levels of studies. And so we really try to help walking people through all these different pieces. The way you actually receive support is different than an undergrad. If you are coming into your master's for the first time, you have your supervisor. If you're course-based, and I just have a faculty advisor, there's grad chair, program head, grad administrator, department head. And so what we've done is kind of, we've provided information. What are each of these people do to help you know who do you go to for when? And if you don't know who to go to, I'm going to ask you to put in the chat, who would you contact? We should have just sorting houses, like could have been like 10 points to Gryffindor. Who would we, does anyone want to play my game of who would we contact if we didn't know who to go to for what?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Someone said it. The CGPS. Amazing.
It's me. It's Lori. It's a trick. So I have a hold on my account. What do I do? And I'm gonna answer myself because I just am. So if I have a hold on my account, the problem is probably either one, your transcript hasn't been indexed yet. Lots of times we already have the transcripts. They all come in digitally. It's a new cool system that we're using. It's much quicker. Or there's something else going on with your account. So the CGPS can help you and will point you in the right direction. Andrew, can you show us the Jira ticket system?
So right under here, under the contact us, you go to the CGPS service desk right there.
So the Jira ticket system is something on campus that the CGPS has recently deployed. And what it does, it's like it goes into this big massive queue, but it doesn't go into the black hole. So a lot of times what happens is if you're calling around, the university right now is still in a state of flux and we're recovering from being off campus to on campus. Some offices are working remotely, some aren't. It's a mixed bag of who knows what. So to make sure that you get a proper, quick response to whatever query or issue or anything that you're having, I recommend to use the Jira ticket system. What happens is that it gets triaged through a bunch of different offices. And so you have a quicker response to this than if you were to pick up the old-fashioned phone and try to get anybody on the phone. I'm mentioning this because we have student services right now who is a central resource on campus, who some of their staff are on site, some of them are off site. So in order to wager through all of the who's where and when, send your query through Jira. And our team is triaging it. We've got 20 people in this system at any given time. You'll get a quicker response. And also that way we can track and make sure that you've been given a proper response, and we can tell what date, and that we're actually doing a job that's decent about responding, if that makes sense. Because we want to track to make sure that we're actually providing a service that's good, not goes into a black hole. So that's the Jira system. Holds on your accounts, random questions. As you get further into your program, your graduate administrator uses this system to connect with CGPS to make sure that your advisory committee meetings are scheduled, that any kind of extra thing or question mark you have on your student file is dealt with. So that's Jira.
And the nice thing I love about Jira, this is a really amazing resource. Not a lot of students know about it, even though we talk about it all the time, is that it will, it's not like, oh, sorry, we can't help you. You need to go to this person. What they do is they loop the person into the conversation. If it's like IT, right? You can't, oh, that actually goes to IT. They loop the person in. They just carrying on, which makes your process so much more seamless. Okay, so the transition page really has a bunch of information to help you support you from just engaging, understanding a little bit more about this journey that you're on. The next one is arrival. So a little bit more about USask culture. So a little bit about like cool things about USask, you know, get hyped. It's really awesome. Things about Saskatoon, weather, cost of living, all that stuff. And then first time on campus, which is a really helpful one. So things like finding the campus map, parking information, a YouTube video about the tunnels and skywalks. So in case you didn't know, Canada does get cold. Saskatchewan gets cold, specifically. Saskatchewan gets cold. It's not the worst, but it's cold. And the cool thing about the U of S is that we are connected by either tunnels or skywalks. We have a video here showing you how to do that. So generally during the winter, you can actually get, unless it's education or the PAC are the two that really generally aren't connected. But other than that, you can get pretty close to them. So it's a great resource to have. Things about printing, pause, all these different stuff right here to help you around accessibility on campus, parents on campus, those things that are really key for different students around your first time, all right here, which is amazing. Other ones I want to point out to you is supports and services. So this is my favorite page that I made because it has, we pulled all the different supports and services you have as a graduate student, and we put them all on one page for you that links to them. And they are thematically organized. So you can explore this, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's financial and employment supports, and lifestyle and community, crisis and advocacy, and information on how to connect to those people. So I'm going to dive a little bit up here, and I'm going to go to career services. So Career Services is an amazing on-campus resource that can support students in gaining employment on campus. So they do things like workshops that can help with resumes, cover letters. They facilitate different events on campus. Where am I looking? Is this what I want to click? It is what I wanted to click. Okay, good. So job postings right here, you can click this one. It'll take you to job postings. USask positions, additional job search sites are right here. They have information about resumes, cover letters. You can also schedule things. You can like meet with a career coach and say, hey, I'm looking for a part-time job in my studies. This is my career. I'd love to get a part-time job now during my grad studies that would help me with this. You can also set up time for them to go over your resume and CV with you or do mock interviews. They can really help you with all of those different pieces. So this is one of those things I wanted to mention to Gabriel, I think it was, of amazing resources to help you with finding jobs, acquiring those jobs, and all of those pieces. So other thing, we have one page on digital navigation and tutorials and how to get more information on navigating the different kind of virtual pieces in that are really helpful for you. Navigating the university, this is a really amazing one as well. Different learning about the structure of university, which doesn't seem relevant, but it really is, knowing like who are the different people, what do they do. So this one dives even deeper than that other one I've showed you for. So sometimes what we've done in the Grad Hub is the information here, it'll be a little lighter because you're consuming a lot, and we go a little bit deeper as we go in, as you're going further out throughout your journey. My other favorite page I want to highlight for people is the Grad School lingo. So this is another one. There are a lot of different terms that are thrown around, right? Academic calendar, active status, assistantships, conceptual frameworks, cognate courses, all qualifying exams. And so what we've done is we've really just created a glossary of all those different terms to help you get kind of familiar with them. So definitely something to read and kind of get a little bit more acquainted with. And especially because sometimes different institutions can use terms a little bit differently, and it can help you understand how is this term being used at the U of S. Okay, the blueprint, my other favorite one. I have a lot of favorites, as you can tell. So the blueprint is really, this was one that students wanted to, like, I just want to help build a map of what my journey is going to be like. And the problem is every program's different and every student's going to be different. So what we did is we helped really guide students with what are they going to be doing and how to find that information. And so each section is designed around helping you with different stages around how to know your rights and responsibilities, mapping your program, what to do when you're managing the different pieces, and then what to do when you're completing and it's time to convocate. I'm going to mention this now. When you're done your program requirements, you have to apply to graduate. Like, you'll be done and you have to like go, that you'll get emails about it. But remember that when you're done everything, you have to do a step and saying, I'm all done everything. It's time for me to go. That could hang up some students if they miss that deadline. And so I really want to plug it now. We'll plug it a bunch throughout your program, but this is the first time. Out of the blueprint, it's a really good thing. Read through it all, but I'm going to go to the mapping because it's the most important one that can be really helpful for students. So, and really what I want to show people is this one, identifying your program requirements. Every program is completely different. Psych, there are 18 different programs of graduate studies, I think. Like, if you look at, like, there's a lot. And so what you want to do is you want to go here and you can find your different programs. So you can do, let's do ed administration. You go and you can find, am I course-based or my thesis-based? Those are actually different programs. It's not kind of just like, oh, it's just a little name and there's like one thing gone. It's an entirely different program. There can be similarities between them, but so you want to go, like if I'm doing a thesis-based, here are my admission requirements and here are my degree requirements. It says right here, I have to do the 960, minimum credit units, history, there's a seminar I have to do, there's a research class I have to register in, and then there are ERES 803. I have to do one of these three. So right now this is 6, and I have to take a minimum of 21 credit units. So that means there's 15 credit units. If a class is 1 term, it's typically 3. If it's full year, so it goes from September to April, it'll be 6 credit units. So then 15, so that's 5 classes of electives I would have to take within the program, or else I could sometimes ask my program, can I take a class in another department that's relevant to my degree, but this is where you go to figure out what classes you're going to have to take. And so I really want students to know about that because it can be really helpful. So you just go here, mapping, it's right here, first one, program requirements, and the rest of the section actually teaches you how to interpret those different program requirements, how to search for classes, planning your program route. We walk you through all of those different steps. And so something that's really helpful for students to know. Other piece I want to show, thesis roadmap, really big one. So we are looking at building a project roadmap and a course-based roadmap. If you go through this one, a lot of the information will still be useful to you, especially around like writing and how to like use the research resources. I do want to just give that nod. It's something we just launched this past summer, and we're building out the other ones. And so it goes through like understanding what a thesis project is, goes through crafting the different sections of your thesis. So like, what is a proposal? What is the overview of your topic? It really walks you through all the different steps. Really great. Here are the different sections and what's in your proposal, really helping you connect you to the right resources. It's really taking you along. Your journey is going to be different, but it's a little bit of a structure to help you. Information around doing research within your discipline, drafting your actual thesis, defending it, what you have to do, and then submitting it. So it walks you through all those different pieces. Very great resource. One of the other things, like when we go to submitting, we also have, we worked with some people in CGPS, but what are the common submission errors? We can give you a bit of a checklist of like, hey, I'm going to make sure these things are done right so it doesn't get bounced back and they ask me like, oh, fix these few things. So really trying to help make your program as seamless as possible. The other things is we also have like building your toolkit, information of resources you have on campus, grad student handbooks. So different programs have different handbooks that we link to. Not all programs have a handbook, but if they do, we've added them here. If you know that yours doesn't, you can send us a link and we'll add it here. We communicate with all the programs frequently, but sometimes if one slips through us, we always love that little nudge you can help us with. Policies, this is a big one. So I'm working with CGBS on doing an EEI review of the policies, and we've done a lot of focus groups and stuff. If one thing I want to make sure students are aware of, it's that reading the policies are actually important. Take a coffee, a tea, go through, read them. It is really helpful. They are quite informative. And what we've tried to do throughout the Grad Hub is if we're speaking to a policy, usually we link to it. So if we're kind of helping translate, we'll kind of link to it. But this is definitely a really good practice to do at least once to get a little bit familiar with all the different things. Policies are also really there to help you and help you know what like the steps are to make sure everyone has the right experience within their program requirements and that like all that information is laid out. So they are a tool to support you. And then there's also career exploration, which is a really cool tool to help support students in building and preparing them for the job market after their program. So there's a lot of amazing, cool resources on this platform. This is not through the U of S. This is a subscription that CGPS has purchased to help support students. So they have different like video libraries and some amazing just information, whether it's academic or a professional career path to really help students. So know that this is available to you. The last thing, we have an FAQ. If you have feedback, if there's something on the hub you were looking for and you couldn't find it, you can, I was like, where'd it go? You can fill out this survey and let us know if you found what you're looking for, know if there's other things you need. And if there's something that you couldn't find, we'll find it. We'll reach back out to you. Like it's not just, it goes into an abyss. We are quite responsive to that. I say we, it's really Lori. Lori's really awesome.
Yeah, I try not to let things go into the abyss. That's, yeah, for sure. Hey, Andrew, did we talk about career stuff aside from the Aurora platform?
Just career services.
Okay.
I say just, we talked about career services. Career services is super awesome.
And can we, I don't know if that answered Gabriel's question about looking for work and stuff like that. Circling back on the start of our conversation.
Yeah. Did that help you at all, Gabriel?
I think we got the thumbs up. So, okay, cool. I just want to make sure that we didn't miss anything.
Okay, where do we find the limit of hours that we can work at the university? So that's a very interesting question.
I'll put links in.
Yeah. And one of the things too is there's like, it can be also your, if some people are funded, sometimes like it's not even a university policy, it's actually the policy of your funder. So sometimes if you're a shirk or you can only be working so many hours outside of yours, that is the one. And then if you don't have funding, I don't believe that the university really actually has any jurisdiction over that. The biggest concern is that if you're, especially if at the start of your program and you're in a bunch of coursework and research, and you're not able to keep up, that it's more so just going to hinder your program progress. But if you're like towards the tail end, you're working on your thesis, like there's a lot of more flexibility in that. And so it's definitely a conversation with supervisors, I find, is the biggest success. But Laura will throw in some stuff. That's a really good question.
Just like most things on campus, you're going to find that there's like probably 5 or 6 different answers for the same question, all depending on your circumstances, right? And so there's always more answers to the same question, and it takes us, we usually ask quite a few questions. We're not trying to pry or be like, well, I am, because that's my nature. I have to do everything. But, you know, we'll say, okay, and then that gives us another question, and we'll keep asking questions because, like I said, there's really dependent on program, circumstances, all that kind of stuff until we can figure out what the right answer is. And that's also kind of the reason, well, part of the reason why the Grad Hub exists, right? Is the whole concept of you ask one person a question and they give you one answer, and then you ask the exact same question to the next person and you get an entirely different answer, and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so what we try to do, and that's what Andrew's taking you through, is, you know, navigating those various different parts of what I call the onion and peel a layer back until you get the answer that is really applicable to your circumstances. And so we give you a lot of different variables and paths to go down. Some of them become rabbit holes, but we really try to avoid that by narrowing down what you're really needing in terms of that extra support or service or something like that. You'll also notice that on the Grad Hub that we don't talk about program. Your program is very specific to you, and that's and so what we're talking about largely on the Grad Hub is how to build that community, that grad community that can support you in what we as the College of Grad, ultimately we want you to be as absolutely successful as you can possibly be. And we want to front load that experience with trying to answer those questions so you don't have to waste your time running around from office to office to try to figure out who to talk to. And also you can email me anytime and I'll connect you with whoever.
Also with our limits, I was just thinking too, for international students, I think it's 20 hours. Don't quote me on that. You'll want to look at your student visa, and that's not a U of S rule, that's actually your student visa, but I want to mention it because that happens a lot. It's like, oh, it's not our rules, it's a different rule that someone else is imposing, but it impacts you as a graduate student. Awesome, thank you. Yeah. So the other ones I want to walk people through quickly is, so the Hub Lab, so if you click that one, You can enroll in the Hub Lab. You click that, it'll ask you. So your page will have like, do you want to enroll? And you have to say, yes, I am already enrolled. So I can just go to my courses. I can go to the Hub Lab. And then yours won't have as many options, but you can click these different modules as it'll kind of take you through stuff to kind of help prepare you. We'll be adding more and more to these. These are the ones were key that students identified as being really important that we prioritized. So yeah, know that these are here for you. The other one is for the Hub community. Again, stay up to date, pulling all of these different workshops that are occurring on campus. If these are here, you know that they're graduate student and you're welcome to attend these events. These will get populated here shortly as the new school year gets up and running. It'll be automatic. We just want you to know that was a big thing that graduate students identified, was sometimes they're like, oh, can I go as this undergrad only? There are a lot of different events on campus. You can be sure that the ones that are pulled here, you're for sure allowed to go to as a graduate student. You're going to be welcomed. A lot of undergraduate ones, if you reach out to the people and ask like, hey, can I attend this event? Most likely they will say yes. And if not, they'll let you know, but definitely encourage you to, reach out to people on campus. And actually, on that note, so I forgot to mention that on the transition page, transition to grad school, when we go down here, there's finding your pack. So a LinkedIn upload. So you can join student groups. There'll be a link right here in about an hour that you can click. It'll look like this, that you can join, and it'll show you different student groups that you can join on campus. I'm going to find it the old-fashioned way. So here are different student groups, events, the different student centers. So I mentioned, right, the different centers. I talked a bit about volunteering and leadership. So these are some cool on-campus ones. So the link that I mentioned will take you right here. USask Rec, you can look at finding volunteer opportunities. They have a list of volunteer organizations here, like so many that you can research and volunteer at. So a great way to also get involved on campus, and it shows you right here if it's on campus or not. Really cool opportunity to build skills, help community, meet new people. And so I did want to mention that for folks. And then the last one, I say last one a lot. It's a lie. If I ever say last one, it's always a lie. It's never the last one.
And that's a good time check, Andrew, because I also have a poll I'd really, really like everyone to take a couple minutes and fill out. So, oh no, well, dead link.
No, so I'm going to show people the non-live. So we also are just launching our IDP, which is the individual development plan. So what it is a resource toolkit that you fill out. It helps you map your career path, your skills, what you want to work on, build out your program map. So we're just finalizing. It's going to be live. We're actually hoping by the end of the week, but our goal is September 1st when you start your program. So this, just to give you a little bit of a glimpse, this is the non-pretty version. I'm giving you an inside scoop. So our graduate student who's doing all the design work, it goes over and explains everything, but it kind of goes through 6 different sections. There's visioning, assessing your skills, mapping your program, reflecting, and adapting your program throughout. So we kind of help you build that process in. And so this is your map that you get to create. You can work with your supervisor throughout your entire program. And it's to help you take the most advantage of your graduate studies around, these are the skills I want to build. Do you want to volunteer? Do you want to take this course? And help you think of those things and build that out, and then get you to reflect and adapt your program or your plan as you're going throughout your program, and then supporting you at career entry. So like there's just different activities for you to do. We walk you through all the things. We link to resources that'll help you for different sections. It's a really great resources. We're really excited for it. And yeah, we're just putting the final touches on it, and it'll be ready for you for when you start your program on September 1st.